Hoe gaan Suid-Afrika in 2030 lyk? Wat moet jy weet van die magdom Gupta-eposse? En wie gaan môre seevier in die Britse verkiesing? Maar voor ons by daardie vraag uitkom, verwelkom ek die adjunkredakteur van die HuffPost SA, Pieter du Toit, en Ebrahim Fakir, programdirekteur by die Awal Socio-Economic Research Institute, om met my te gesels oor die DA se Zille-probleem. Ebrahim, welkom terug na baie maande. Ek wil by jou begin. Is daar enige kans dat Zille hierdie kan oorleef?
No, I don't think either she nor the DA can actually outlive this, because this really does represent a serious crisis. And it represents a serious crisis on two different fronts. The first is that there are principled issues at stake. The principled issues are that she ought to have been allowed to hold the belief that she does. I mean, our political dispensation is actually quite liberal and allows people to hold all kinds of weird views. Now, this has nothing to do with the factual or even the correct ideological, politically correct view that she holds. That she wants to hold the view, I think, is allowed and is entitled. That it clashes with what her party wants, of course, is the real question. And that's where the second front emerges. Is this such a deal breaker with black voters that if they maintain Zille in the position that she's in, do they alienate a whole bunch of black voters? But let's be serious for a moment, and let's look at the actual number of black voters that the DA does in fact have. Now, people make all kinds of hyperbolic claims about how much and how well the DA did in 2016, and there's no doubt that they did do very well. There is a market shift between 2 and 5% or percentage points in black African townships of a swing towards the DA. But let's not lose sight of the fact that in a proportional system, the stay away of a bulk of ANC voters with big turnouts in suburban areas was really pushed up their proportions. And one shouldn't lose sight of the fact that white voters or the suburban voters aren't important. They are vital for the DA because unlike the rest of Africa, our middle class, even a racial minority, is seriously invested in our politics.
So, maar vir Pieter, om hulle persentasie verder op te stoot in 2019, en hulle is baie ambisieus, moet hulle basies al hulle huidige kiesers behou en skerp groei onder swart kiesers. Watter skade het hierdie krisis aangerig aan albei daai vooruitsigte? Onthou die basis en die toekomstige kiesers.
Maar daar is geen twyfel dat dit skade in die DA aangerig het nie. Inligting uit die DA is, soos wat jy in jou inleiding gesê het, is dat hulle interne syfers wys dat dit doen hulle skade aan. DA organiseerders, DA LP sê vir ons dat waar hulle kom in townships, waar hulle kom onder die nuwe kiesersmarkte in swart gebiede, is dit al waaroor mense nou praat. Verdedig julle kolonialisme, verdedig Zille apartheid. En onthou die DA sukkel nou al baie lank om hulle beeld te verander van 'n liberale, die ou DP fight back campaign van 1999 se verkiesingsveldtog. Dis iets wat aan hulle gekleef het. Tony Leon het hulle gevat tot op 12% in 2004 en Zille het hard gewerk om die party se gesig te verander, die aanslag van die party te verander. Maar sy het hulle tot op hierdie punt toe gevat. Sy maak nou skade. Daar's nou openlike oorlogvoering in die DA, Waldemar, en hulle kan dit nie verder bekostig nie.
Ebrahim, let's assume that she doesn't survive this process, which according to today's vote, overwhelmingly the party leadership seem to believe that she ought to be suspended, or eventually driven from the party. How does the base react? How do white voters react, you think, in 2 years?
Well, look, I mean, I think the stakes are so high for getting the ANC out of power that both funders as well as voters will take some umbrage at the fact that Zille was pushed out of the party. But I think they'll eventually return because their massive interest is not so much around the personality of Zille. It is about dislodging the ANC from power. And that's really their big concern. And so they'll remain loyal to the party. But what I worry about is what does this introduce into our political culture in terms of the balance between free speech and the ability to say so, on the one hand, and the desire of a party to grow at any cost. So the question is, would you be so expedient to sacrifice big principle as a core component of our political culture merely because you have it in your interest to want to dislodge an ANC?
Pieter, is daar nie 'n element hiervan, ongeag of jy met Zille self saamstem of nie, wat jou tog bekommer oor die jy weet, diversiteit van sieninge wat die DA moet kan huisves, ten einde gesond te wees en te kan groei, nie?
Ja, Zille het vanaand haar in 'n verrassende skuif het sy haar voorlegging aan die DA se Federale Raad bekend gemaak en in 'n 13 bladsy dokument sit sy haar argumente uiteen en sy sê daarso, dit is baie gevaarlik vir die DA indien iemand verskil van die leier dat dit gesien word dat daai persoon vervolg word, want Zille sê sy probeer die tweets nie verdedig nie. Sy sê sy het reeds om verskoning daarvoor gevra, maar sy sê daar moet 'n kultuur wees dat daar met die leier verskil kan word. Daar is natuurlik fundamentele ooreenkomste, hulle werk na dieselfde doelwit toe in 2019. Zille is bekommerd dat daardie kultuur gesmoor gaan word as sy vervolg word. Die ander ding wat ons moet onthou, dit lyk asof die DA prosedureel en in terme van die DA se grondwet aangejaag het. Sy sit breedvoerig uit hoe dit voorkom asof sy vervolg word, asof daar 'n persoonlike vendetta teen haar gevoer word, asof daar reeds besluit is om haar skuldig bevind nog voordat sy die kans gehad het om haar saak te stel. So selfs mense in Musi Maimane se dampkring sê, die kans is baie goed dat indien Zille hof toe sou gaan of hierdie dissiplinêre proses tot aan die einde deurvoer, dat sy moontlik sy het 'n meer as gelyke kans om as 'n wenner hier uit te loop, maar die DA uiteindelik sal waarskynlik 'n verloorder wees.
Did Musi jump the gun a bit on Sunday?
Absolutely. I think they jumped the gun in terms of putting a disciplinary process in place in the first place. I thought they ought to have simply debated this and defeated it, because it's quite simply defeatable. Her views are actually, they're quite odious, but she believes them. And this is not about fact. This is about belief. This is about an ideology. And if they can't get the tone right, that black South Africans actually do take umbrage to the patronizing the way in which they're spoken to, then they are going to retreat from the party. But, if she genuinely believes this is for her a matter of belief, and she wants to hold that belief, then the key thing in Musi's speech on Saturday was, and I differ with Pieter a little bit, is that they actually do say that they differ fundamentally about what their views are about going into 2019, about what the shape and form of the party is.
Want Pieter, op die eind moet die partyleier tog kan uitvoering gee aan 'n visie en soos Ebrahim nou gesê het, hy sê en sy moet dit tog ook erken dat hulle verskil nogal fundamenteel oor bepaalde waardes.
Helen Zille se hele filosofie die afgelope paar jare was gewees oor an open opportunity society. Musi Maimane het ingekom en gesê, natuurlik moet dit 'n meriete gegrond wees, maar die speelveld is nie gelyk nie. En Musi Maimane gee meer erkenning daaraan dat meer moet gedoen word om die swart agtergeblewe bevolking op te hef. Zille glo open opportunity society, die speelveld is gelyk, kom ons gee vir almal gelyke kansse. So daar is 'n fundamentele verskil in ideologie en filosofie wat hulle aanhang. Iemand het dit hierdie week verduidelik deur te sê, Helen Zille sê, ek sien nie meer ras nie, ek is verby ras. Musi Maimane sê, as jy nie my ras sien nie, sien jy my nie raak nie.
Ebrahim, is there a risk that the DA can lose some of its core support, maybe not a lot, as you suggested, and in return for pushing Helen out, which is a possibility but not certain, not get the promised or anticipated gains in black votes in 2019? Is that a possible scenario?
It is, but anything's possible. In every election, people say, look, the DA can't grow any further, they've reached their ceiling, and in every election, they defy those odds. And literally, they've grown in every election, and I have no doubt that they will grow in the next election. The question is, to what extent do they grow? And if you take average growth over the last 3 elections, it is on average 4.5%. If you average it out over a local and a national election, and of course they're different systems, so you've got to compute it differently. But I would say that there's a 4 or 5% growth. And again, I think that they will have a 5 or 3 or 4% growth in the 2019 election. That's not enough to simply eclipse the current ANC unless they go into work with other parties. Now, they also got to fathom what message does this give to other potential partners like the EFF or other smaller black political parties, excluding the ACDP and the Freedom Frontier for a moment. And how then can they work together with those parties? And where I agree with Pieter is that the DA is making slight ideological shifts, and that might appeal to a broader black electorate.
Pieter, net ten slotte, die EFF, hoe belangrik is dit vir die EFF dat Musi sterk optree teen Zille?
Ek dink dit is belangrik vir die EFF. Hulle is deel van die koalisies, informele koalisies in Johannesburg en Pretoria. Hulle moet ook hulle ondersteuners gelukkig en hulle gaan dit natuurlik polities uitbuit. Hulle is 'n politieke party, hulle doen dit reeds.
Ebrahim Fakir Pieter, baie dankie. Bly ingeskakel, net hierna vind ons uit hoe Suid-Afrika in 2030 kan lyk.